Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this session, what we're going to do is we're going to just have a look at the SSRS expressions. So basically, expressions are a way in which you can do certain things at runtime. For example, it can be dynamic formatting, right? You say that, okay, if my value is about 10 or something like that, display it as blue or display it as red or something like that. Apart from the formatting things, there are also a couple of other things that you might want to do at runtime, like manipulating data and stuff like that. So let's just take a peek at expressions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project over here and then create a very simple report. All right, let me just add a report over here and let me call this as expressions. All right, so we have a blank report. So let's add a data set, and what we'll do is we'll connect to our typical AdventureWorks database. So let me just create a connection string over here. Okay, so let me just make sure that my instance is correct. All right. Okay, connecting to AdventureWorks, click OK, and then let me just quickly add a table. Preferably I'll add my customers table. All right. So I'll select the top 100, everything from this. Okay, so we have our data set ready, and let's just make a very simple tabular report. I'll just drag and drop a table control over here, and then I'm going to drag and drop a couple of fields. Okay, I think that should be enough, and let's just hit on preview. So this is a very simple report that we made, and what we're going to do is we're going to add some expressions to this report. We'll add things like how to dynamically format this report, and then how to add some system level or global variables like the execution time or the current date time, or maybe add a fourth column and then do some manipulation of the data that is already available to us in the 3 columns and then display it in the 4th column. So it's basically the sky is the limit. Expressions allow you to do many of such things which is actually needs to be done at runtime. It can be as simple as manipulating the graph, or when we actually talk about some visualization tools in this, we'll cover some of those, but it basically allows you to do a lot of things at runtime. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is I am going to display anything that's above 5 with a color equal to red and territory ID. So so this is the cell which basically displays row by row territory ID. So I'm going to click that and then right click it and say expression. So this will basically give you the expression that it uses. So it uses one of the fields and then it just puts the territory ID value. But now we need to change the formatting. So each of these properties does have an expressions tab. So if you look at the color of this is by default it's black. But if you click on this drop down, there's an option called expression. So let me click on that one, and you see that the expression for this is black. I can go ahead and just say red or yellow or whatever, but that is going to be applied for each and every cell. What we need to do is we need to just select those cells which are basically have a value greater than 5. So before we go too much deeper on that one, I'd like to just show you some of the options that are available over here. So on the category pane, you see that there are a lot of inbuilt options given to you. Like you have built-in fields which basically gives you these things ready-made, like your page number, your execution time, etc. So if you use these things in your expression, it's going to just give you the results directly onto the report. We will have a look at that also at the end of this session probably. So if you look at common functions, there are a lot of functions that are already given to you. So what we are mainly interested is the program flow. So let me just choose the IIF. So this is basically a conditional if. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to say, okay, if my territory ID, the value of my territory ID is greater than 5, then I need the color red, else I need the color black. Let's keep it simple. So this is actually, this gives you the value, and if this particular expression is true, then display it as red, or else display it as black. All right, let's see if this works or not. So sure enough, you see that anything that has a value above 5 has a red color over it. So this is a simple example for formatting. You could really use it for extensive purposes. For example, let's just drag and drop a text box, and let's see what we can do. Let's just display the current time. So I'll say the current time is let's right click and say expression, and let's see if we can find something which gives me the current time. This looks like that. So returns a date value containing the current date. Okay, so this is something that we will need. Oops. So let me write the current time is, and I need to use this function. All right, so let's see if this works. All right, so this will just give you the current time, right? That's what the expression we wrote. And just to give you one more example, let's just drag and drop another text box over here, expand it a little bit more, and let's just add some other expression over here. Let's see, we have built-in fields, and let's check the execution time. So this will give you the execution time. Now, sure enough, you can even format this, you can center align it or left align it, also using expressions. So, this gives you a lot of flexibility in creating your reports. Let's do something else. Let's just add a column to the right, and I'm just going to say, territory ID 2, just to keep it very simple. Territory ID 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write an expression which will just add 10 to the existing territory ID. So let's see how that works out. So I need my territory ID, and I need to add 10 to it. Okay, let's see. Sure enough, it's adding 10 to each of these territory IDs. So I've given you a very, very, very simple example of how expressions can be used. It really adds a lot of flexibility to your reports, and it can be used for a variety of other things. Common things would be that you do some very heavy mathematical calculation. For instance, territory ID, if I was having some scientific figures over there, I need to do some calculations and then display the color accordingly. I could really write expressions for it. Anything like a standard deviation or the average of a few numbers, or all these things can really be achieved using expressions. So it's just consider that as a little bit of code that you write in order to add more flexibility to your reports. So that's it. That's all about expressions. Thanks for watching.